Welcome to Innovate Asia, a podcast spotlighting visionary pioneers tackling Asia's toughest challenges with groundbreaking ideas.
Digital nomads tend to be also the type of people who are quite lonely at times because they travel most of the time by themselves. I thought, hey, there's really no co-living spaces in Chiang Mai. And nobody's doing it, at least the way I think is the right way or the good way of how a co-living, co-working space should be for digital nomads. And I thought, maybe I should give this a go. Fun fact, I realized that more introverts prefers to stay in co-living spaces than extroverts. This is something that I did not realize at the beginning, but it makes sense. Because if you're an extrovert, you don't need a space to interact with people as much. But if you're an introvert, you want to be presented the opportunity. Like I tell people the difference between a hotel and a co-living space. A hotel highlights privacy. A co-living space doesn't highlight the privacy. It highlights the sharing experience. It highlights the connectivity of people, meaning you're not coming here to have privacy. Not that we don't give you one, you still have your room. But the intention is we want to encourage people to be interacting with each other. So we create multiple touch points. So I would say me and you, we're not foreigners, but we're also not local. So we're kind of like in the middle. We're kind of these bridges.
Yeah.
But it's a very key component to facilitate both sides because there needs to be facilitation. Without the bridging, without the facilitation, when you just dump a bunch of people here and say, do stuff. No, that's not going to work. So the Cosmo local CNX, we know there's a lot of things in Chiang Mai that appeals to outsiders.
Yeah.
Right? How do we encourage them to understand Chiang Mai?
Yes.
How do we tell them to avoid the mistakes that we made? And how do we also tell the local people or introduce them to and give them an equal playing field? But hopefully next year, there will be a different type of gathering in Chiang Mai that fosters relationship of both sides coming together and doing cool shit.
Okay, today we are here with John Ho of Alt Spaces, Alt Co-working and Alt Co-living, with a plural. And we'll get into that. I wanted to sit down. John and I were trying to catch up recently, and we said, hey, let's have a catch up. And I said, you know what, why don't we have a lot to catch up on. And I really wanted to understand a lot more about your community building over the past 3 years or maybe 4 years.
Almost 5.
5 years?
Yeah.
And help people understand more about physical spaces, building a community and what that looks like. So I prepared a few questions, but really I think it'll be more of a conversational flow, have fun, get to know a little bit more about you. Before we get into your background, and you could tell us more about that, I wanted to just briefly touch on how we met and how we arrived here today. So, for example, I believe we met in the beginning of 2021 when you were still finalizing the build of Alt 1. Don't quote me on the date.
Yeah, I lose track of time as well.
I was really excited about of what you were doing. I find it really fascinating. I just got into just a few years earlier, I went to my first hostel and I didn't really know what co-living was and co-working was. And so, yeah, that was super cool. I went to one of your, I had some of your earlier events where you just started the cold plunge, the early days of that. And you had actually invited me to speak on the 4-hour work week topic.
Yes.
When you had just recently finished your 3rd floor many years ago. And then I think around a year later, you invited me to speak with a few others on AI prompting when that first all came out, because that's pretty vocal and outspoken about it. So so that was how we met, and from there we got the privilege to watch you build not 1 but 2 of these spaces, or you'll get to tell us more. But before we get into all that fun stuff, please tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and how you arrived in Chiang Mai, and then how you got into this co-living and co-working space.
So originally from Hong Kong. Um, I speak better English because I also spent some time in the States. But if people ask me, I tell them I'm from Hong Kong. My background is in hospitality. So I worked in hotels, multiple hotels for about 9 years of my first career after school, higher education. And then I spent another 9 years just trying to figure out life. Dabbled in a lot of stuff, network marketing, digital marketing, social media, online community building businesses as well. So I think the background of me is kind of like a mix of just a lot of different experiences. Um, how I got to Chiang Mai is because of my wife. We met, I can't even believe this, but we were counting how many years we've known each other. It's actually been 18 years. So I was like, oh my God. I think that's the first time I actually know about this place called Chiang Mai, because me being from Hong Kong, of course, we travel and we do holidays in Thailand, but mostly it's Phuket, Bangkok, those more better known spaces. But Chiang Mai for me was the first time I know through my wife. And so the first time here was 14 years ago, I want to say 14, 15 years ago at least. And you and I both know this, amazing place being very special, with the people, with the lifestyle, with the culture, especially like Northern Thai culture, which is different as well. So we got married. We wanted to have kids. This is 8 years ago. And Hong Kong, as some people might know, listening to this, it's a very buzzing place, right? 7 million people squished in a 1,000 square kilometer, give or take, space. So you have everything, but it's also, in my opinion at least, not super healthy for kids. There's not a lot of space. You need a lot of money, which I don't have. Everyone is talking about competing, the starting line. I don't know if you heard of this. Like, everyone who has kids talks about the starting line, and it has to start before the child is being born. Yeah, so I don't like that. So me and my wife decided to move to Chiang Mai, she moving back because she's from here. So yeah, that was 8 years ago. And then life was in a different path because, again, I came into Chiang Mai with a startup job or a startup gig, I believe. And I was working in a co-working space, and I began to know about these people called digital nomads. And they're very interesting people. They're travelers, but they're also this new workforce, as you can call them. This is, something that is not familiar for me before. And I find them very, very interesting.
Were you working here at one of them?
Yes, I was working as a member in Pun Space, and it's also a very well-known co-working space.
Yes.
It's actually the first co-working brand back then. So yeah, that's how I met the digital nomads. And, co-working space was already a thing, obviously, but co-living space is interesting because I think this is my wife reminding me, because I have really bad memory. I think I was reading an article in a magazine, and it mentioned about co-living spaces and the purpose of co-living spaces, which solves the problem of loneliness, because there's a lot of people who are quite lonely.
Sure.
More so these days. And digital nomads tend to be also the type of people who are quite lonely at times because they travel most of the time by themselves. And I thought, hey, there's really no co-living spaces in Chiang Mai other than Hub 53. I think Hub 53 would be coined as the first one. But in terms of really being intentional, designing a space, building it from ground up, having the facilities and the service targeted, for the purpose of co-living, I would say, Alt Chiang Mai is the first one in Chiang Mai, if not in Asia. But yeah, that's my beginning journey of this whole thing.
This is great. So you see these digital nomads coming around Pun Space, and you're like, wait a minute, what? You're wondering, how could they afford it? What kind of jobs do they have? What interest? I mean, so you see this space in the market. that, hey, maybe this co-living thing, and you start like, this is a pretty big leap. I mean, they're two kind of different things. You're merging them. Like what was it that fascinated you about these people, and that you thought that you could really fill this gap and build this business?
So after 9 years of trying and failing and trying and failing to be an entrepreneur, I think, the brain is trained a bit more like opportunistic, like seeing what are the gaps or what are the opportunities, right? And I just thought, okay, because I have hospitality background and we've already built, a couple houses in Chiang Mai because we needed to live in one ourselves. And nobody's doing it, at least the way I think is the right way or the good way of how a co-living, co-working space should be for digital nomads. And I thought maybe I should give this a go. And it was purely like an idea. We have no expectation because, first of all, I don't have the cash to build one. Cost money.
Yeah, we'll get
A lot
into
of
that.
money. And I was just like telling people about this idea, not even seriously. It's just, I see friends, I go back to Hong Kong, I just talk to people like I used to, and I'm like, yeah, I have this idea of building a cool living space with no expectation of people taking it seriously. I don't even have a pitch deck.
Like you also have this unique ability to bring people together. Was that something that you've had as you grew up, or through these experiences of failing forward and learning, or you just, hey, I want to build this, I've got to become really personal? Like, tell us a little bit more about this.
Yeah. I think it's a little bit of both nature and nurture. Growing up, I'm more fascinated of like human behavior than, let's say, some people are interested in machines and computers and all that. I think I'm the other side of that spectrum. That's why I chosen the major of cognitive science, which is essentially the scientific study of human brain. And so, like human behavior for me is interesting, like how they interact, how they learn. I think that's why after school, I wanted to go into hospitality, because like where else can you meet diverse types of people? Hotels, right? Because you got all kinds of people coming in. They're going to stay for a while and you're going to, interact with them. So I thought that's also an interesting job that I became more and more, used to understanding, okay, there are many types of people, there are many ways of thinking. And yeah, you just gradually became like, I learned to understand like, okay, like there's just different ways to engage with different types of people.
Yeah.
So then over time, that became a skill set. And I think that's what people describe me as, like, John. Yeah, he can talk to anyone, anywhere. Yeah, and then he can just pull things out of his ass, and yeah, and then connect people, that kind of thing.
I wanted to ask about that, about working with diverse groups. There's a lot of things I really want to cover. So building physical spaces brings in just a wide variety of different people.
Yeah.
Which is great. And here at our building, we have this similar situation. And everyone's got ideas, which is great. And there's a lot of just many different characteristics, many different traits. How do you manage that? How do you manage that? Like, how do you manage your time with that? Like, everyone's got these ideas. People want to do this and that. How does it fit into what you're trying to build, what already is existing, and what your vision is? Like, how do you manage those things?
So originally, Alt Chiang Mai essentially is a space provider, right? So we give people living spaces and working spaces. And because it's a business, then the idea is we need to make sure that we have enough people to stay and work, and they like their experience, so that they can pay us the money, so we can make profits and we can pay bills and keep it sustainable, right? That's just basic business 101. Of course, in order to be called a co-living space, then you need to present the case that this is actually a co-living space. So then it gets into the definitions of, like, how do you define a co-living space or a co-space, right? So sharing, I think that's a big one. Meaning all these ideas that people have, including minds, has to be heard and evaluated and to be treated in a way that everyone is okay with, right? So the mindset of providing the space and the time for people to share their ideas and to interact with people, goes very, very early stage when it comes to even building the space itself,
Amazing.
right? So then I tell people the difference between a hotel and a co-living space. A hotel highlights privacy, right? You go into a hotel room, that's your space. You can do whatever you want to do. Nobody's going to ask any questions as long as it's legal, right? Technically. A co-living space doesn't highlight the privacy. It highlights the sharing experience. It highlights the connectivity of people, meaning you're not coming here to have privacy. Not that we don't give you one. You still have your room, but it's a very simple room. It's smaller than usual too. But the intention is we want to encourage people to be interacting with each other. So we create multiple touch points, be it before, during, after, the events, the spaces, and the pathways to walk even, right? Everything is facilitated so that people are encouraged to bump into each other and to interact with each other.
Paul, could you share some of the photos that are in the contents channel? I just, on the way into the office today, I pulled just early Alt 1, and we'll get into Alt 2 images to kind of help paint or articulate a little bit of what you're sharing. I think these thoughtful spaces kind of guide. This is the front. You could tell us a little bit about this. So I think you were thoughtful from the get-go of how I sense you're very meticulous about each and every fine detail, which is good and bad, I guess, in many ways.
Yeah.
But you also have to be very flexible. You're in Thailand, maybe the way that you've thought this. There's many challenges.
Yeah, you can't be a perfectionist.
You can't be, but all of these things are well thought out.
Yeah.
Extremely well thought out. So as you were just saying, even the passageways and which goes through here. Floke, if you go to the next photo, so you're the sharing space out here. So if someone is living here for a longer period of time, do they get is there more weight in their opinion of how this evolves? Is there a way that you guys get together once a month or once a week and share these ideas? Could you tell us how that?
Yeah. So again, it goes to the intention of the business itself, right? We are what we call the midterm stay lodging facilities. Our minimum booking is 6 nights. We don't want anyone staying for less than 6 nights because there's no way that you can experience what it means to be in a community space. Well, you don't have time, right? But the average stay is usually 2 weeks to 2 months. And we price people out when they want to stay longer. Because
Wait, it's 2 weeks or 2 months?
2 weeks to 2
Oh, 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. But if you want to stay longer in Chiang Mai, you have way cheaper options than
Of course.
staying, right? So then that's our kind of target audience, people who are mostly first timers or they really love the co-living experience, but they don't intend to stay in Chiang Mai for a super long term, and they stay at our places. Now, in terms of opinions or what they want to do, and this is also super fascinating. Like I can geek it out in hours just to talk about, okay, so what's an expectation of someone who comes here the first time or stays in 10 days versus what happens after they stay for a couple months?
Yeah.
Because okay, they see people come and go and then they're like, well, I know everyone here. I know how it works. I don't need to socialize as much.
Right.
So there's a behavior change of anyone who comes through the door from the first day until the last day they leave.
Yeah.
And you can read the reviews and control, but I think because it's so intentional and because we know the type of people that we're dealing with, it remains a pretty manageable space for the community that we're trying to build, right? And it's very specific to the intention. I wouldn't say this applies to, let's say, a residential co-living. We're called a destination co-living, meaning people don't stay forever, whereas residential is more long-term, like they stay from 6 months to years ahead. So for our purposes, I like to think it's well-suited for,
What's an ideal guest?
An ideal guest, right?
And tell the people watching, what would 1 week at Alt cost in dollars?
A week. We have rooms that we charge weekly prices. Okay. Usually I think in monthly or night. I would say a couple $100
Okay.
to 500
Okay.
a week.
And monthly, do you know?
But this is also the interesting thing, how we do dynamic pricing. Also, we have tiers, right? So we encourage people to stay longer.
Okay.
Ultimately, if you stay for 10 days, you get like a smaller discount. But if you stay for up to a month, you get 50% off.
50?
50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a
So then, yeah. So then anyone who wants to stay for a month will cost somewhere between 600 to 1,200, depending on room type and season.
Oh, wait, say the numbers again.
$500 to $600 for the smallest rooms.
Okay.
And then 1,200 to 1,200 for the nicer rooms and for high season.
And help us understand, what all do you get with that other than the room?
Right. So then you get your living space, which is your bedroom. You know, it's simple, but it's
I think could you go down to one of those bedroom photos
it's been simple, but
like this?
yeah, we have the best mattresses.
Go down one more.
It's purely for sleeping.
To that bathroom.
And you have an ensuite bathroom for most of the room types.
Is that what it looks like in the room?
Yeah. So, you know, like it's hotel standard, but it's obviously simplified, right?
Uh-huh.
And then you get the co-working space. It's already included. So you get a working desk at the co-working space while you're there. And then all the activities.
Do you get like that's your desk, or you're hopping around?
You can buy, you can upgrade to a dedicated desk.
Dedicated desk.
Yeah. And then you get all the activities and the community, vibe that we're providing, because we have community managers, we have weekly activities, daily activities, we can have family meetings. You know, we start knowing the first day is like, okay, the first thing you need to know is know your residents.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then you know the activities, from yoga to ice bath to pizza night to founders happy hour to going out for an excursion to, I don't know, just partying, all kinds, right? And then you start building relationships with people, and we don't enforce it, but we definitely encourage it, right? So then we have staff that are trained to introduce each other, you know, to connect with each other. I go there. I try to spend as much time as I can to also know the people. Yeah. Like it's getting harder, obviously.
Sure.
But back in the days, I would remember every single resident's name, like for the longest time. And now I can remember maybe 30% of them.
Yeah.
It's getting harder, but yeah. Yeah.
And is it Wi-Fi throughout, or do you get your own room? How's that work? Or
I mean, we don't have any disconnect. 99% of the time, the electricity goes out first for the internet.
Cool way to say it.
We have a battery system that backs it up, right?
I noticed that you partnered with Bella Goose, one of my favorite little spots, with their coffee. And is that at both locations?
Yes.
So we're gonna get in the second location in just a moment, but so I'm fired up, and I sense you're very enthusiastic when you're talking about it. This is like your baby, and it's really cool to hear you evolving through this. I wonder. So I don't want to cut you up. I want to bring us back. What is the perfect person to come through the door? Like, what is an ideal, or is it just like, hey, we welcome all types of digital nomads, and whatever is your flavor, and hopefully you fit in, and here's what we got.
So there's actually a paper you need to sign before you're on board.
Tell me more about this paper.
It's called the Paper of House Rules, right?
Okay.
But essentially,
is it literally called the Paper of House Rules?
I think it's just House Rules. I forgot the name of it.
That would be really cool if that was the
Paper of House Rules.
Yeah.
But essentially, we ask people to understand what respect is, because despite of all the, variety of human beings, I think you need to understand there will be opposing ideas and opposing backgrounds. And so one thing we need to make sure is that people come in with an open mind. So when you interact with people, just to bear in mind that this is the safe space for international travelers to work and live together, right? And of course, you can interpret respect in a very different way, and people care more about it. Some people care less about it. But essentially, once you sign on the dotted line, you're obligated to do this manner of respect. And if you don't, we actually have
enforce it.
Yeah, have to kick people out, right? And luckily, we haven't needed to do it since the beginning of time.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not to say that there hasn't been any conflict.
Of course.
But I think the ideal person is someone who's open mind, someone who wants to connect with people. Like if you're fun fact.
Yeah.
I realized that more introverts prefers to stay in co-living spaces than extroverts. This is something that I did not realize at the beginning, but it makes sense. Because if you're an extrovert, you don't need a space to interact with people as much. But if you're an introvert, you want to be presented the opportunity. We're not forcing people to talk to people, obviously, but then it's just less friction. Like it's easier to just ooze into a conversation if you're an introvert. So then, like, I think that's an interesting observation throughout the years.
It's great that you're able to diffuse these. I mean, I'm sure that there's some that are just so excited. This is their first time really traveling, like a lot of emotions flaring. They're having a great time. They come back at 11 o'clock at night after a few beers and like, you know, it could probably get loud or maybe disrupt someone that's been here for 2 months that's reading a book. I can imagine the different variety that you have. Yeah. So Alt One, would you call a smashing success?
I want to say we were lucky that we opened towards the end of COVID. And that was when remote work became mainstream, right? Because if it weren't for COVID, it's really hard to predict this movement of digital nomadism.
I see.
You know, because we were also catering a higher income bracket of digital nomads. Like people in Chiang Mai who know about alt. It's like, why would you spend so much money to stay in this place in Chiang Mai when you have so much more cheaper options? So yeah, when Chiang Mai opened, when Thailand opened after the COVID lockdowns, we were very shortly full for many months, and you know we didn't need to like put more money in per se. So, and then we have alt Ping River.
Let's bring me there. Bring me there. How do we get to, did we wake up one day and say, I think I want to open up another one of these? Or what does that sound? What does that look like?
It's very strange even thinking back and telling people the story of how Alt Ping River became the second location. Essentially, Alt Chiang Mai was very well received.
Yeah.
We have people asking like, hey, are you going to build another one? Because I want to invest, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Right. And me and my wife are like, we just finished opening the first one. We almost died in the process of doing it. Like, I think we want to take it easy.
Sure.
So long story short, we were approached by a small hotel group based in Thailand that wanted to do a joint venture with Thailand. Yeah, and they wanted to do a joint venture with us because they really liked the idea of it. They want to open many places in Thailand.
Okay.
And it got us into thinking, okay, what is the next step of alt? Because I think, when you're in business, obviously you want to think about growth.
Sure.
But how to grow, right? And so we were engaging in that conversation. Unfortunately, fortunately, it didn't go through. So we don't have a person to back us up financially. But during the process of negotiation, we actually found the second location of Alt Ping, of Alt, which is Alt Ping River. And it was just, again, one of those really casual conversations with the community at Alt Chiang Mai. Because again, like I just tell people everything, which is a good thing and a bad thing, I suppose. But yeah, like people, we hang out and they're like, hey, how are you doing? What are you up to? Like, when's the next alt going to be? And then I tell people, well, there was supposed to be a deal. It didn't go through. We found this location. It's an abandoned hotel. But we need $650,000 US.
Yeah. And you've never raised money before?
I've raised money to buy a drone.
To buy a drone. And a drone's like $3,000 or something.
It was 1,000 back then.
1,000. Yeah. This is exciting. So here, wow. So this is a big leap. And what was really fascinating, and I think it was really cool of you, that during your process well, I'm not sure. I saw from the investor side as considering investing in the project. And I also got to watch the newsletter side. And I have you on 2 different email lists, so don't miss a thing. And you shared with us your journey of this, like took your clothes off, like, hey, I'm new at this, like I'm just, and I think that gave us that vulnerability gave us a sense of like, man, he's being very transparent about delays. He's being very open about the challenges of a business. And any business owner or entrepreneur can like feel you through these words. And I thought I'm not sure anyone's got a chance to tell you, but that experience for us on the outside, watching you do that over the years was really inspiring. And it gave us a big vote of confidence in your ability to build as a builder, deal with setbacks as an entrepreneur, and still move forward. So I commend you on that. And that's really an enlightening way to watch you. You're kind of got a funny way about how you like laugh it off at the end of these messages. You sign off like, ha ha ha, hope I make it till tomorrow. Like, but how did the investment work out for the investors? And where are we today with Alt 2? And what does Alt 2 look like?
Right. So Alt 1 is my money and my friend's money. This is a good friend of mine back in Hong Kong. So we put our life savings in it. And when we needed to raise money for Alt 2, but again, it's being through and through with the community first approach. When we talk to people about what a co-living space is, right? I was saying how sharing is one big pillar of it. And then the other one is really community first. I don't believe anyone has answers for everything in the world, not even ChatGPT. And as an entrepreneur, I'm very aware of my lack of experience of many, many things. So what's the hack to it? Right? Well, you open source it, you crowdfund it, you just get people that you think they have more experience and knowledge, and you ask them. And that's always been my approach when it comes to building stuff. Like even building a house, right? Like you have an idea, but you've never built a house before. And there's so many little tiny details that matters that people don't think about. And they think, oh, I can build a house. I have money. Let's just build a house, right? No, that's not how houses are built. Like you have architects, interior designers, contractors, down to the plumber, electrician and everything. Like everyone is specialized in the things that they're good at, right? And I know very little about everything.
On the same as you.
Anything, right? So, Alping River, we identified a location. I started bringing people to the site, and then everyone got excited because, again, I need validation, right? Before even jumping into it. And people say, no, this is a nice place. We think there's a chance, right? So I said, okay, how should I even formulate this fundraising campaign?
Yeah.
And then there's one from the community that says, okay, I'll help you out. This is how you can do it. And then okay, what the terms should be, what are the incentives, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think this is pre-ChatGPT still. But even ChatGPT, you don't want to purely believe in it.
No.
Right. So then I just kept asking people about all the things that I don't know enough. And then, it's also amazing where the first person puts in the money and I'm like, I don't know you that well.
Very cool.
Why are you giving me $30,000? I actually asked the investor that question. They're like, well, I like Alt Chiang Mai.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the experience. I want to see another one going so more people can enjoy it. I'm like, awesome. I hope I do a good job then. So
it's a big responsibility.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And you're putting your reputation on the line.
Exactly.
Everything you built on the line.
Right. Because it's other people's money.
Yeah, and that's a whole other game.
Right? You can't fuck it up.
Whole other game.
Right. So then Alt Chiang Mai is fine because it's my money, it's my best friend's money. It's fine if we fell. But now I'm asking other people's money. So they're taking a leap of faith.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I gotta get my act up together. To date, we're not in the lose. We're not in the black.
Right. The law. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's also been a very tough year this year because we're only open about 14, 16 months. Alping River, the second location. So we're doing okay. But it's also very promising in sense of the different types of people who want to engage us since we opened Alping River. For example, we did Edge City Lana last year.
Yeah.
So it was a a crypto community that wanted to build a pop-up village.
Yep.
And we hosted 700 people for a whole month.
That's awesome.
In this area, right,
Yeah.
that we're working in. And Alping River was the co-working hub for these 700
People.
international folks, right? And this happened right after the historical flood.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. Yep.
Yep. Were you here?
Yeah. 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 It was up to my knees.
Right. So so that was a very like good experience in a way, how like we built resilience. Now we're actually hosting a different type of group, which are who are university students from UK doing summer program. So there's like 30 of them staying at Alping River right now, but they want to come even more and longer next year, right? So then we've been hosting the third group. Each group stays for a month. So now we have these, like more intentional groups that we don't have before. And so we're seeing more and more people interested in co-living spaces, not only digital nomads. So I want to believe that, by like, and it usually takes a couple of years for the business to get stabilized anyways. So, I mean, if an investor is watching this, I want to tell them, we're going to be fine this year and we're going to be good next year because I'm naturally just optimistic.
And so they're buying into the community and you and your ability to keep this thriving. I see that, when you open a second location, it does start to like open up more doors too, because more people are like, okay, the founder has vision, capacity. And now I see you like traveling a little bit. I've seen you going to Europe and I see you going to Japan and Hong Kong. And I want to ask you like, are there like still these butterfly feelings of like, hey, we're getting a lot of focus on what we've been doing in Chiang Mai. Are you suggesting that possibly that there might be interest in doing something similar in other countries?
Originally, yes.
Okay.
But after Edge City Lana, after having 2 kids and, raising a family in Chiang Mai made me realize that the, conventional idea of growth in business doesn't appeal to me. Especially being in Chiang Mai for 8 years, almost, or more. Understanding what it means to be happy. And a big part of it is being content. Not to say that the business doesn't grow.
Right.
But I don't think growing outside of Chiang Mai makes sense for me. Or at least massive, like hyper speed growth.
Yeah.
Like what WeWork did, like what Selena did, right? They did. I mean, we know what Regis happens to them anyways. Yeah. So the strategy again pivoted early this year. So yes, I'm going out, but when I'm going out to Japan, I'm going to South Korea in a few weeks. I'm actually telling them to come to Chiang Mai.
Cool.
Because I think Chiang Mai has a lot of potential. Yeah. Has a lot of beauty that people don't understand or don't appreciate yet. And not because it's intended, but I think the nature of Chiang Mai itself is just like we're okay with the status quo. Yeah. So if people find us, they find us, but if people don't, it's fine. I want to kind of push that a little bit further and say, no, like I want to see Chiang Mai thrive.
Yes.
In a very mindful way.
Yes.
Because I also understand the potential risks of, gentrification, for like there's words like neo-colonialism, these kind of things, right? So I'm telling people that, hey, I'm from this place called Chiang Mai. We have an amazing community. You should come check it out if you vibe with us. Yeah. Right. So that's the message. And so the intention is more like creating more services and more facilities to build out this ecosystem. So now I don't want to tell people that I'm only building spaces. I'm actually wanting to build ecosystems within Chiang Mai.
Yes. Dude, I love it. I'm so loving that you're saying that. And this is a great segue. So the reason that we started this podcast was because the Bitcoin Chiang Mai podcast exploded. It done so well with the genre, the topic, the host, the quality of people, the engineers, the mathematicians, the scientists, the doctors, the people come here. It's just incredible. But when you put an English-speaking person on a Thai podcast, the numbers just dive off. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So we created Innovate Asia for English speakers that live here or in Southeast Asia, Asia eventually, to be able to have these discussions and help their city thrive. And I think you as a community builder are such an important person to have a conversation with. And I'm so glad that you answered that, you're not going to try to stretch it out too far and you're really going to hone in on making these two areas great. So we had created this, launched this, and no real major agenda or push to make this a big booming podcast. I mean, I'm hoping I get a replacement for my chair soon. But I do like to speak to friends and people and get to know and ask them questions. And I want to build the community, and we're building that here. Like right now we have over 250 members, and we literally started a year ago. And we have maybe 125 international and 125 Thai. And it's all of our events is in your early years. I used to see you'd have an event and you're like, it's going to fill up. Like you're trying to tell people on Facebook and then full. You just see on the diagonal, full, and it's not sold out because you weren't selling tickets. It's full, and we're at the same position. I mean, we share for 1 or 2 days and it's totally max capacity. It's fascinating and it's important. And I think that you and I know the magic of this city. And to help build the city is so important. So we said, there with the digital assets, digital currency movement happening in Thailand, they announced it last year. We said, hey, you know what? We'll put on an event so big that the government has to respond. So we have this massive event in November, over 10,000 people, over 3,000 runners for this marathon event.
Whoa.
The first Friday, we have these leading modern finance visionaries coming. And because we could only fit 100 people in this building, we rented out the movie theater at SFX Cinema. And there's going to be these 10-minute TED Talks from 15 leading young English-speaking, or not necessarily young, English-speaking, I like to call them visionaries or trailblazers. I'd love for you to join. The problem is it's on Halloween and you've got children, so I'm not sure if you can make it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. But it'll be recorded. It's going to be super awesome. So so the city heard about this event. They want to call it Innovate. We suggested Innovate Chiang Mai as the theme. City got behind it. We started working with the city on educating about digital assets. What is Bitcoin? What is everything else? And we started having weekly meetings with them. And they made a major commitment. They're like, this is going to be great for Chiang Mai. Already for Loy Krathong, the same period, 150,000 people come to the city. I'm sure you're maxed out, or possibly. And we want to talk about marketing before any of this, after all this. I'm fascinated to how we could help, how we could learn from each other. So the city gets involved. They want to, we say the whole event, the city wants to put in 50%, $5 million, $150,000. We're like, great. This is February, March. We start having weekly meetings. I've got a team of 7. We're going there, back and forth. And I'm like, hey, this is good. This is all good. And Dr. Joe, who's the man, and he's a family man. He's an entrepreneur. He's a doctor. He's a new deputy mayor. Is extremely confident that anything under that budget easily could get signed off. It's going to be great for the 750th year for Chiang Mai. Big vision. We're like, let's do it. I tell the biggest brands, my biggest connections in the world, international billion-dollar brands, we're going to have this 10 million baht party, and it's going to be everything. 13 days ago, they reduced their commitment from 5 million to 500,000, and still there's no letter of intent.
Right.
It personally cost me 2.5 million that I have to, and there's still a 2.5 million gap.
Right.
Right. But like, I had to really kind of dial it back personally, because I need to think what is in the best interest of Chiang Mai and what is in the best interest of Thailand before I go and like be too aggressive or too outspoken on this matter. Because I was pretty upset when someone because you put your brand on the line. You know, I'm talking to major brands like Tether, Binance, BitCup. I mean, the biggest names in the game that do this, and everyone's like, okay, we're in. And now I'm like, you know, so I have to deflate the event there on that. But like, does the city need the people, or does the people need the city?
I was waiting for that question or a question. So regardless of other people, right? I appreciate your work, you know, that you're doing in Chiang Mai. I know you, I know your partner Phai. I think you two are doing an amazing job, because one of the things that you and I care about is connecting the locals and the outsiders or the foreigners. There's not a lot of expats that do that, or at least they don't do it in scale, right? Usually you just find a Thai wife and be done with it.
Yeah.
Have a couple kids. I think 8 years in Chiang Mai taught me also, you know, what it means as a non-Thai person, or even a non-Chiang Mai person operating in this land, right? Because I come from Hong Kong. I'm educated in the Western kind of ideology space, right? I speak a different language. I behave and I engage with people unlike a Chiang Mai or a Thai person. So who am I to dictate the rules of engagement, right? Who am I to say this is how it should be done?
Correct.
And luckily, I have my wife to remind me.
Yeah.
Occasionally, she slap me on the back of my head and say, like, "You're not supposed to do that." And I'll be like, "Wait, but what did I do wrong?" Right?
Yes.
I didn't do anything wrong. So, going back to the question, it's not about needing or who needs who.
Mm-hmm.
I think it can be framed in a different way. Like, since we decided to be here,
Yes.
like
we're visitors.
we choose to be in Chiang Mai.
Sure.
Chiang Mai didn't ask us to be here.
Sure.
Right? And we're not even going to talk about Thailand as a whole country.
Yeah.
Right? I think it is important to understand the relationship of us versus them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And there is a difference. Like, as much as we want to integrate, I learned Thai like twice a week, and as slow as I am in my, you know, in my Thai speaking skills or listening skills, I still try my best to do it.
Yeah.
But that's because I do want to be acknowledged by the local folks and saying,
For sure.
this is why I'm doing the things I'm doing, right? So I don't want to frame it in a way that, oh, you need me or I need you, right?
I think I was a little heated when I was saying those ways.
No, but it's
disappointing.
But it's also the expectation management side of things.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think what we're in common is that we have, or we believe we have so much to offer.
Yeah.
But when it's not taken in the way we wanted it to be taken in, why am I even spending so much effort doing this?
Dude, yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think I've come to terms with it.
Yeah.
As I've also faced these similar like responses from different parties, private sector, public sector. And I don't think it's also with bad intentions. I just think it's alignment, right? Like the alignment needs to be agreed for both sides in order for anything to work. And the alignment has to be agreed upon, right? And I think that's the hardest for people like us who have a lot of passion, who have a lot of like good intention, but maybe we need to also practice more on the patient side,
Yeah.
right? Because
Sure.
again, like, why do I come to Chiang Mai? Because
Yeah.
I think Hong Kong was too much, was too fast.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So why am I imposing on the people if this is the reason why I come here in the first place,
Yeah. Exactly, bro.
right? So it's all for myself to understand, okay, maybe I'm not doing it the right way. Right. Okay. All right. I'll just back out. I'll just back off a little bit. I'll be like, okay, let's wait and see. Right. I'll do it with the people that will like agree, and then we'll try to come up with ways we can do it. But
Yeah.
let's see. Because like you don't know. Like we don't know.
No.
Right. And then yeah, you just have to be okay. Otherwise you're just gonna be so
Totally. Bro, I am so glad that you shared that, because I felt like I was speaking when you were sharing all these things. For me, in my position, you know, we help give dozen scholarships. We build churches and buildings and bathrooms and kitchens in the hill tribes. We just give. They're like, why, how? Like, I am in Thailand. 3% are expats. A large percent of that is retired. I wanted to focus building this Bitcoin community on Thai people. There's no international people that work here.
right.
It's just Thai people that speak English. So it makes my life a little easier. Like, so right now, we reach over 1,000 people per day in our education, Thai people. We are genuinely interested in helping the Thai people learn about financial inclusion, basic finance, basic savings. That's it. Doesn't have to get much more complicated than that. We're doing it through our media. We're doing it through workshops, constant events, podcasts. I mean, we are literally busting out of the seams. You know, I'm already like looking at the neighbors, like who's ready to sell? You know, it is so beautiful to be accepted here. And sometimes like I have a vision of how this should build, but believe it or not, downstairs came out pretty close. Like there's just so much learning that I'm not sure I'm willing to like devote my life into 10 years of understanding the culture to have that conversation. I find myself as a community builder, trusting the process, trusting the people around me, and saying, okay, are you comfortable with how you feel that's going to work out? Like, here's our general path. When I used to be like, it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way, it's this. And I can't see it happening any other way. But here I have to be patient is a great word you had just said. Extremely patient. And I was telling them in a meeting last week, you know, it's not Dr. Joseph. And the guy's just he just got into the mayorship and into politics. Like, did he not apologize to me? That's what fucking pissed me off. That's what pissed me off.
Right.
And yeah, like when there's when there's the expats that come here, these are like the expat Bitcoiners that live here, they're very wealthy people. They like to give back. They build supermarkets. They build buildings. They're not just, they want to contribute to the society. So all of a sudden, we do have a little bit of like, I wouldn't say clout or weight, but like, 40 people in the room and there's, $50 million. No, just $200 million. And some people don't want to be on camera. They don't want their face. I mean, it's wild to see these early Bitcoiners embrace us and stuff. So we want to build the community. We want to make Chiang Mai thrive. We love community builders. There's not many, like you said, that are doing this. But we also, know that the city needs to build. The city is focused on this big GDP of tourism and big expat. And that's why there's always a crazy new visa and like all this stuff. So we do need to find a way to integrate. And right now, because we, sitting with Dr. Joe over the years, it might only be 2 years that he's in this spot. And you recently went to Taiwan with him. Yeah. And like, whether, this is our opportunity because he's young, he's a startup guy in AI, in healthcare, family man, doctor, now in politics. I mean, I pray for the guy. But this is an opportunity to really help the city out and take some of our personal, even though you cost me 2.5 million baht, off, take it and put it behind us and move forward to help build the city. And I really admire how you build people, because I don't see like a whole lot, and maybe I'm not just in the right algorithms, but how do you attract these people from all over the world? Are you spending a lot of money on marketing? What does that look like?
I mean, the first 3 years of our business, we don't even have a marketing budget. So it's only until a year ago we have maybe $500 per month.
Amazing.
So I guess this is also beneficial back in network marketing days where, we understood the best marketing strategy is actually word of mouth.
Sure.
Now, it's very hard to scale, but it's very effective.
Yeah.
And what makes us pay more attention to is actually not so much on the message or the branding or the PR stuff, right? Because word of mouth essentially means, the person comes in, books a room, books a desk, have to have a good experience, genuinely.
Yep. Not a fabricated experience.
And then they go out and they tell people, like, this is alt and I had a great time. You guys should come. Like, I'll tell you a real story. Please. That just like, and it happens over and over again because we don't do data collection as much. So I sit in a luncheon, like we have Wednesday co-working lunch. There's a new resident. She's from Russia, young girl. And I ask her, like, how did you find us? And then she's like, oh, yeah, funny you asked. I was just coming out from Russia trying to do this digital nomad thing. I ended up in Istanbul and I was at a coffee shop and there was a girl next to me and we just started chatting. And then the moment she realized that I'm traveling as a digital nomad, she told me, you have to go to Chiang Mai, but not only you have to go to Chiang Mai, you have to stay at Alt Chiang Mai.
Nice.
This is one of our previous residents. She's actually from Turkey. So she finished her trip here and then she went back and then she just happened to meet this Russian girl at a coffee shop at a random place. And that's why she was sitting in front of me like 2 weeks later or something like that. Anything you can think of. We have people became co-founders. We have people who got into a relationship.
They started businesses together.
Yeah. We have people who hired people from us. We just had our first wedding. It's actually an investor and one of our common friends. And so there's all kinds of relationships built in the spaces that we have.
Yeah.
And sometimes, they finish they finish Chiang Mai and then they go out to another place.
Yeah.
And then I follow them on Instagram and they just naturally use like alt reunion.
Okay.
Like just a few of them.
Oh, my blackout. Oh, that water.
Okay. Yeah.
It's okay.
Delivery.
It's a neighbor.
And so yeah, it gives me a lot of joy because again, a brick and mortar business like us, we're not doing this because we can make billions.
Yeah,
or
for sure.
Billions, right? It's more like you see people connecting and they have these relationships. And I go to Bulgaria, Bansko, like the biggest digital nomad conference, Bansko Festival. And like a lot of people come to me and say, hey, I heard about your place so many times. Like I'm just trying to schedule my time to come to Chiang Mai. And they start asking me questions like, when is a good time? What should I prepare? Blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I guess it's working.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I love it. I try to think about marketing for us and like same thing. We just, sometimes we're like, well, why don't these people want to talk to us yet? I'm like, you know what? If we do a good enough job, and we help enough people, they will come.
Yep. Yeah. And it has to be like authentic and genuine.
Yeah.
Right. Because like, of course, I mean, marketing, it can be fabricated.
Yeah.
You can put up that kind of impression.
Sure.
Right. But I mean, especially community spaces or communities itself.
Yeah.
Like people talk. People will talk privately, whether it is really true. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm not a really good poster, as in like, you know, like it's for me at least, I believe it's easier to just present it as is
Yeah.
than pretending to be a perfectionist of like, yeah, we're the best and we're the you know we're the coolest. Like it's just very hard to maintain that kind of impression.
Yeah. You just want to be authentic. You guys.
I think in the long run, it's just an easier strategy because like even if things don't go as planned and if you tell people, they tend to be quite forgiving, you know, as in like, or, but if you do lie, right?
Yeah.
And just fake it.
Yeah.
Like there's this, I think the difference between my culture background, because I still perceive myself more Eastern centric when it comes to just understanding things, right? The idea of fake it till you make it, I get the appeal and I get why it works. Only if shit doesn't hit the fan, right? So I often want to say like, okay, I'm not good at faking anyways. So I might as well just like, don't fake it and just be like, okay, this is what I got. Like, do you want in or do you want out? Right? That's pretty much it.
I think it goes back to like the newsletter of how I read it.
Yeah.
It's like this guy's just telling us his heart. You know, you're sharing in.
I also believe it's a better strategy in the long run.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I think it's great what you're building. So how can we help you? What could we do? What could I be doing to help you? Tell me how we could help you.
No, and I think it's also, it has to be mutually beneficial, right?
Sure.
I think the fact that we're in a, you know, very close proximity, the two spaces, you know, means there are opportunities where we can cross pollinate.
Yeah.
Whatever the message you want people to know about Bitcoin Hub or about like, or whatever people want to know about alt, you know, we can do a lot more.
I think so.
I think working with locals are very important. So right now we have a really nice and cool neighbor that you saw last week.
Yeah.
Anusan.
Yeah, we have our event, pop-up event there too.
Right. And I want to believe that there's just these individuals in town that gets us.
Yeah.
Right. That it's easier to be aligned with. And maybe they don't have as much resources as like billionaires or government entities, but they have really the intention to work together
with our audience.
Yeah. So for
our demographic.
Yeah. I was introduced to another coffee shop owner down the road by Arisa.
Yep.
Because she believes this, what we call the Cosmo local movement. Cosmo meaning the outside and local meaning here.
Yeah.
But for places like Chiang Mai, where there's a lot of international people coming in and doing all kinds of stuff, short, medium, long term, there's not enough people discussing or doing activities that facilitates those relationships when people come together and do things together, right, at scale. Right. So we're trying to launch something called the Cosmo Local CNX, which is a different type of gathering, kind of inspired by the Edge City Lana pop-up village idea, but with more intention of local integration. I also tried looking for investments, but you know, this year is not a good year for asking for high-risk investments in that sense, but which might be a blessing in disguise because now Chiang Mai and Austin, Texas becoming sister cities.
Sister cities, yep.
And then all these connections that I'm trying to build with Japan, with South Korea, even with Estonia, right? I think when the time is right, I don't want to impose my timeline on things I want to do here. But hopefully next year, if not the year after, there will be a different type of gathering in Chiang Mai that fosters relationship of both sides coming together and doing cool shit.
And when you say both sides?
So local Chiang Mai, entrepreneurs, community leaders, artists, culture people.
Because I see what you do is like digital nomads, travelers. And then there's expats. They don't, it's not, they're totally two different things.
Yes. So, I mean, so
Like our strength is international.
on the definition of sides, and there's also a spectrum of it, right? I think what's important to understand is it's not really the identity. Well, it is an identity, but it's more like your experience within that context. So I would say me and you, we're not foreigners, but we're also not local. So we're kind of like in the middle. We're kind of these bridges.
Yeah.
Right. And there's also a Japanese term about this people. It's called relationship population. It's translated, obviously. But it's a very key component to facilitate both sides, regardless of who each side is, to come together. Because there needs to be facilitation.
Yeah.
And there needs to be bridging.
Yes.
Right. And so without the bridging, without the facilitation, when you just dump a bunch of people here and say, do stuff.
No.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
Or there's going to be messiness.
Yeah.
Right. So the Cosmo local CNX idea is like, okay, we know there's a lot of things in Chiang Mai that appeals to outsiders.
Yeah.
Right. How do we encourage them to understand Chiang Mai?
Yes.
How do we tell them to avoid the mistakes that we made? Right. And how do we also tell the local people or introduce them to and give them an equal playing field? I think that's also like important. Like, you know, like you can't just charge something the same price and say, no, this is fair for both sides. No, it's not fair.
It's not.
It's not fair. Like people who criticize like the
part thing,
the double pricing thing, they're idiots.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
They're idiots.
Like this guy makes like $300 a month,
right?
And you make like 10,000 a month, and you're like, that 50 cents isn't fair.
It's not fair. It's like stupid. Of course you have to price it lower because they make less money.
Yeah, come on.
You know, and they pay taxes.
Jesus.
Right? So that's like let's level the playing field a little bit so that both sides can actually come together and speak and communicate at least.
I'm totally into this. Like one way that we help, and I want to find ways that we could do that together. I have such a niche, interesting set of people that come here. But there are quite a few people that come here. Like someone just told Neo the other day, I wasn't here. And he said, one of the reasons I came to Chiang Mai was because of your building. Like I heard of Alt Chiang Mai, I'm here. It's like, holy, like, I feel like I have a responsibility. But I did say that our new mission statement is very short and very broad. And it's, today I will help more people than I helped yesterday. And why it's so open and broad and not specific towards what we do is because by setting the example and doing the right thing in the community, in your day-to-day life, people want to know, who is that guy? What's he do? Where's he from? Why is he like that? Oh, maybe, he teaches basic savings or basic finance, or and all of that compounds, you know, helping people compounds. So if community leaders, international community leaders here in town find ways to cross-pollinate and bridge and interact together, just naturally that effort alone is like, they care. Like, why do they care? Like, let's help them. And then you see these semi-affluent neighborhoods, like the one that you have the pop-up next to your place, that are like, hey, my target for my higher end product is international or nomadic or international. And that and it starts to see it. It's literally what we call in the Bitcoin world, proof of work. You're just doing the real work. And like when I go running in the morning and I'm on like 8 miles and I'm dying, I see these Thai people in these different villages and they're looking at me like their jaw dropped. Like they're actually, I could see the sense of like, they see the hard work, put in the work, do the right thing. And this gravitates to both of our communities. And I think that, you know, we can find ways. I think this is a great conversation. I think that this helps us get to talk about what we've been doing, haven't had a chance to catch up in a while, how we could help each other. I have people that come here quite often. They're like, hey, I'm in town. You know, where should I stay? Like, oh, go to Nima. I'm like, no, like, hey, check out this alt thing. And it's co-living, co-working. Just give it a try. It's 6 days, see how you feel. you know? And the people that come here, that it's not about money.
Yeah.
It's about just building.
Yeah.
They come here to support what we're building.
Yeah.
So they're already like interested in being part of that. So I got some people in mind that already come here all the time. But yeah, man. Yeah. So I just kind of wanted to sit down with you for, I guess, already an hour. That went really fast. Get to hear about what you're doing. I could have went on forever. I had so many questions that iPads off. I didn't get to any of them. One of the last questions I did have before I ask you where people could find you and how do they find Alt. If you had $10 million,
right,
what would you be doing every day? Let's make it 20 million. 10 million isn't as far as it is.
I know the right answer is to buy Bitcoin.
No, you can't. There's no Bitcoin. No. I didn't set you up.
No.
I mean, because that is the right answer. If there is an answer, right, is it? But I want to know what I'm getting at. And also, like, I want to get to know, like, what would you be doing every day if you weren't doing this? Like, what would that look like?
Yeah. So I think, you sent me some questions beforehand. I actually gave some thought about this. So let's say if it's 10 or 20 million.
Yeah.
Right? The funny thing about the number is it's actually not a lot if you want to change the world, right? Like 20 million, I mean, what can you do with it if your ambition is to change the world, right? Now, if I need to live a good life, I can also say I don't need the 20 million. I just need to stay in Chiang Mai.
Right.
My life, fortunately, the business right now is sustainable so that I don't need to worry about the day-to-day costs, right? Yeah, I mean, of course it would help to have some money. So then it becomes like, okay, so then all of a sudden someone dumps like 20 million or 10 million, right, on me. And what do I do? I think I worry more about what the money will do to me than because now I'm older, right? Like when I'm younger, when I'm in my 20s, when I'm in my 30s, when I like have things I want to do, but I don't have the resources, right? Of course I want a lot of money. But the weird thing about being in Chiang Mai, and now that I'm having like a project that I really, really love just going in and work on a day-to-day basis, I can't tell you exactly what I want to do about the money other than like, I want to hire a driver.
So great.
But I don't need 20 million to do it. That's my biggest dream. Like I keep joking to my wife, like if I'm rich, I'll hire a driver because I'm really tired with driving. Or maybe robo-taxi will come one day.
If they let us have the Tesla.
Yeah, but then...
Well, the Starlink.
I suppose it's a lot of money to do good for Chiang Mai, but I think I would have to consult with a lot of local people and say, okay, we have this bunch of money and we always talk about how do we want to improve the city.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how to do it, right?
That's so cool.
Maybe it's, I don't know, like having crosswalks, building more parks, upgrading some facilities, giving helmets to people
it's
can't be bothered like thinking about safety, those kind of things. But I don't
you could have said, I go to the beach, I work in the garden, but you want to help the city, you want to help the people, and it's really admiring.
Well, it's the purpose, right? Like and this is also from my religion background, right? Like why do people need religion? Because they need a purpose to live.
I agree.
Now, if you have a purpose, then you're good. And that purpose doesn't need to be grandiose. Like it can be very simple, right? I think I found my purpose. Like having all there, you're pretty content.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
John Ho, thank you very much.